Not, then we'd like to start with Mr. Contois, please. Thank you, Mr. Contois, for being here and putting your name in to serve on the council for the next 6 months. Would you like to give us your opening statement?
Yes. Basically, it'll be from the letter that I sent to the council. One clarification point.
Excuse me. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I think all candidates other than Mr. Contois need to wait out in the hallway.
Their chairs out by the stairs.
They did.
They didn't.
No, it's Patrick Lucy.
You want the doors closed?
Can we have the first? There's no problem having one of the sets closed. Is there?
Yeah, sure.
That's fine. Sorry for the interruption.
I'm not sure if my resume was clear. It was clear to me, but I noticed in the paper today that they said that I had 26 years of Army service. I had 26 years of federal service, Department of Army, DOD, as a civilian. I'm not a veteran. I have a degree in political science. I have a long interest in history and government. I've been active in Claremont since 2004. I've been a case manager for homeless services. I ran the homeless shelters and the programs, 3 long-term placement programs. I worked as a tracker with juvenile probation, unfortunately negatively interacting with some of the youth in school from 11 to 17. I spent 5 years as a paraeducator in the Claremont school system. I'm active in 2 civic organizations. One is the Racial Healing Working Group, which formed after the near lynching that happened in 2017, and we've been doing a lot of work educating ourselves and hopefully citizens about the dangers of racism. The other organizations I belong to we're constantly working. We fought against Wheelabrator and the re-permitting process, and we worked in getting more recycling done back when the market was better. Of course, now we all understand the market's bad now. I actually, when I was at middle school, I wrote a grant, and we were able to get receptacles, and we started recycling all of the plastics that the students were using. I attend Grace River Church. I teach Sunday school there. I facilitate 2 ministries that involve financial aid to people in need. And I said, and I believe, that Claremont is a city on the move. I'm right now active in a citizens group that's getting petitions, getting people together to fight the C&D facility that's being planned for the junction. I'm concerned about our children. I'm concerned about Claremont's image. And the city has got a bright future. I want to be part of that future, and I want to move ahead.
Thank you. So we have 4 questions. The council has those at their desk. We'll just go down the line. We'll start with Councilor Pope. Would you like to ask the first question?
Okay, thank you. So, first question is, how have you personally invested yourself in Claremont?
Well, as I just stated, the personal investment in Claremont, let me walk it backwards. Currently, we're working against this C&D facility. It's, and I don't know, can I get specific about that? We're working against this open-air facility because it's 1,000 yards away from Maple Avenue School, and it's within a half mile of 200 homes. So I'm active there. I'm going around neighborhoods getting petitions. I've gotten to local business people. I've gotten to local citizens. I've written to all of you. I've written to the planning board. So on this project, I'm dead against it because it is not the right time for Claremont to have this. There's probably no good time for us to have this Claremont. It's the wrong project, the wrong place, the wrong time. So I've also been active in fighting against the Wheelabrator permitting process. Once again, we're talking about air quality. There's a lot of discussion about cancer and what causes cancer and why cancer, but I know where I live in Glenwood Drive, we're just about half a mile, maybe a little more, away from that smokestack. And my neighbors across the street died of cancer. And my neighbor next to me died of cancer. And I've had cancer. And as we go up the road, it keeps happening where air quality is critical. And so I've been fighting with other citizens against that permitting process. Thank goodness for us, the facility was closed. It's closed due to economic considerations, but I think it also was closed because we made some noise and said, hey, we don't want this facility here. Since 1987, 2 million tons of waste has been introduced to Claremont that was not ours. We don't need it, we don't want it, and it hurt us. I'm active in the church. Been going to Grace River since I moved here in 2004 from New York. Once again, worked as a juvenile probation contract worker, hopefully getting kids on track to become better students and better citizens. Sometimes it worked. And I had a great run at the homeless shelter. I really enjoyed that work because being in the long-term housing programs that I was in, I was able to help people get education. So I worked with Department of Education. I worked with our local school district in getting people GEDs, getting fees waived, college fees, getting people into River Valley. So these programs were all good, helping people get a leg up. And once again, the success rate wasn't always the greatest, but there were people who availed themselves of the opportunity and moved on to success.
Thank you. Councillor Kolowski, would you like to ask the second question?
I would love to. What motivates you to serve as the city councilor?
Well, I need to get involved, okay? Sometimes I often speak about voter apathy and sometimes the apathy of the public. And I can't be critical of others' apathy if I'm sitting back. So I have to get involved. And there are so many things that are happening with Claremont now that makes it an exciting place to be. I want this C&D facility not to open up. I want Wheelabrator to never operate again. I need to, there are initiatives around, like certainly Mayor Lovett worked long and hard on lead and the schools and testing of children. So there are issues like that regarding public health. The other issue that's near and dear to my heart is social justice. We need a more just society. And so some of our group has already been in contact with the curriculum specialist at the SAU. I spent Monday night at a listening session with Mike Tempesta, telling Mike about the issues about needing a more inclusive curriculum. But all of these things, racism, social justice, homeless shelters, working against facilities that are harmful to the people, I want to be involved. I want to help folks. That's what it's about.
Thank you. Councillor Keir, would you like to pose the third question?
What do you feel is one of the city's biggest challenges?
The biggest challenge? For me, right now, the biggest challenge that I see is the C&D facility near the school. Second on my radar would be the racism issue. And not just racism, but social justice. Because I see more and more that we're having pride events. There are issues. When we met with some of the pride folks, it became a concern to me when some of the students said that they were unsafe at the middle school going to the restroom. Real simple thing, you know, I need to go to the bathroom. But they were unsafe going there because people would harass them, physically bully them. So on the issues of racism, on the issues of social justice, on the issues of homelessness, on the issues of waste and how we handle it, we need, so those issues are all big to me, and I want to be involved in working on answers to those questions.
Thank you. Thank you. Sister Mayor Darren, fourth question, please.
Sure. The council has a number of committees, some standing committees, some ad hoc, that we become involved in. What committees do you see yourself participating in, should you be the counselor, and why would that be important to you?
How many can I be on?
As long as you want. Depends on your time.
Yeah. Every time we meet. Yeah, that's right.
It's recently come to light with me that, so I guess the first committee I'd like to be on would be the planning board. It's recently come to light that for me, this is all an education process for me, that the planning board is separate. They're not elected. You guys can't stop what they decide. And I don't know what can be changed. I don't know how it can be changed. We certainly need to have someone on that committee who's got the people's back. Today, one of our committee members told me that the next planning board meeting that's coming up, we couldn't do a PowerPoint presentation. Only the applicant can. And I went, wow, that doesn't make sense to me. Why would only the applicant? This government represents me. I'm the people. When we fought against Wheelabrator, the Attorney General's representative sat with the industry. And I'm going, wait a minute. The Attorney General's representative should be sitting with the people. Should be on the other side. So I certainly would like to be on the planning board commission. And the other is an old interest that I have. My minor degree is in criminal justice, and I've often thought about the police commission, but I don't know what kind of experience you need for that, but that's certainly another desire of mine to personally is to belong to that committee.
Okay. That's the conclusion of the questions. Would you like to make a closing statement?
Would I? I think my opening statement said it all, and my answer to the questions, okay? I moved here to Claremont with my wife to care for an ailing family member. I left a community that we were involved in. And when I came to Claremont, I got involved here. I got in church, involved with church. And then it's grown and expanded. I've spent a lot of time canvassing, bird dogging for political candidates, both local and national. And you know, Claremont's just a great city. You know, my wife and I, we come down to the parks, we come to the parades. The other day, our Racial Healing Working Group sponsored the Frederick Douglass reading on July 3rd up at Moody Park. So it's just a great community. It's just a great community. We're involved. We want to stay involved. Claremont has become our home. You know, New York is not a place I can move back to. It's different now. It's changed. And I think about the connections I've made here. Neighbors, friends, church. I mean, I know some of you personally. And it's just a place that we're attached to. We're going to stay here. We're not moving away soon or ever. And I want to be involved. And the city council has a lot of responsibility for the direction that the city will go in the future. You're doing a good job so far. We need to keep going. I'd like to be part of that.
Thank you.